The series follows Shinichi Izumi, a high school boy who is so weak that other boys can bully him easily. And this is Morano, his mate at school and his girlfriend too. They are in love with each other. One night, tiny worm-like aliens with drill-like heads called the Parasites arrived on Earth, taking over the brains of their hosts by entering through their ears or noses. While Shinichi was sleeping, one parasite attempted to crawl into Shinichi's ear first, but failed. Then it tried to crawl into his nose, but also failed as our buddy was terrified and thought that was a snake. He shouted a lot, so the parasite tried to penetrate his arm instead and moved through his arm. Shinichi reacted quickly and stopped the parasite in his arm. As a result of shouting, his parents got into the room. "Hey, what is going on?" he said. "I have a snake in my arm, save me." They checked his hands, but they found nothing. They thought he was drunk or hallucinating or something like that. Shinichi slept and thought everything was okay. He woke up, had breakfast, and went to school. He began to notice odd things happening. On his way home, he found a girl trying to catch a ball and was about to be hit by a car. Shinichi saved her, and the surprise. He stopped the car with only one hand and found an eye on his hand. Yes, a strange thing in his hand. He went home frightened and terrified. He held a knife and wanted to know what was in his hand. Suddenly, he found his right hand transforming. What a terrifying scene. He reacted as he saw nothing and tried to kill the parasite, but the parasite was so much faster that he held the knife and broke it. Then his hand became normal again. Yeah, the parasite slept. Shinichi tried to use Google to find out about these creatures, but there was nothing. That was in vain. More horrible crimes began to take place in Japan. People are murdered in an awful way. Shinichi slept, and when he woke up, he found the parasite was learning reading and writing to communicate with him. It was a smart hand, by the way. They began to adapt, and the parasite was named Migi, and it was called Migi as Migi means right in Japanese language. Migi began to tell Shinichi more and more about his type. They are aliens who take over the human brain and control the whole body. And as we all know, Migi tried to do so, but he failed, so he took over the arm, and that is considered a failure. But for Migi, living in an arm is better than death. So Migi controls Shinichi's arm, and it becomes normal when Migi sleeps. That means Shinichi is now Migi's host. If Shinichi dies, Migi dies. So they made a deal. Migi feeds on Shinichi's blood, and Migi protects Shinichi in danger time. One day, while Shinichi was walking, Migi told him, "Hey there, we have a trap for now. I can feel another parasite near here. I can feel them through perceptual waves." Shinichi refused, but Migi insisted. When he went there, he found a dog eating another dog. What the hell does that mean? The dog was taken over by a parasite, and the parasite feeds on the same kind of its host. That means if a parasite controls the human brain and body, it needs to feed on humans. The dog felt that Migi and Shinichi are a danger to his type, so the dog attacked them, but Migi killed him. Shinichi's physical attitude and movements began to be much better than before. He became another person. He was so skillful that his girlfriend adored him more than before. One day, while he was on his way, Migi felt another parasite. But what the hell is that? The parasite waves came from their school. It was their teacher, but she didn't look like a normal host for a parasite. She had exceptional intelligence. She knew that Shinichi is not a human too. She asked him to meet outside the school. She came with a weird friend whose only desire was eating humans. The intelligent teacher, whose name was Tamiya Ryoko, cared about knowing more about her type and all facts about the parasites. In the following day, Tamiya's friend attacked the school and murdered many students there. The school was evacuated, and here Shinichi decided to face the parasite alone with Migi. Migi's task was the defense, and Shinichi's task was to attack the parasite, and they already killed him. Shinichi's mother noticed that her son had become weird, so they decided to go on a journey for some time. Shinichi met a girl called Kana. She was his mate at school and she also loved him. She had supernatural power, as she could feel Parasite's waves although she was a human. She began to follow him everywhere. While Shinichi's parents were enjoying their trip, a parasite killed their joy. Shinichi's mother was killed, and his father was badly hurt. The father called Shinichi and told him that he was going to hospital. Shinichi began to think more and more. What happened? Are my parents okay? But suddenly, he heard the open door and he saw his mom. He was extremely happy that he was okay. But wait, she looked so cold. She wasn't okay. Oh my god, her body was taken by a parasite. Migi told him that she wasn't his mother. Shinichi couldn't believe and began to talk nicely until she suddenly tried to kill him and penetrated his heart. Here, Migi tried to act like a heart for Shinichi, feeding him, giving him water. Shinichi became okay, but changed a lot. He tried to cry but he couldn't. He decided to take the revenge for his mother. He went to his father's hospital. His father was so badly shocked that he couldn't tell Shinichi anything. Shinichi already knows everything. Shinichi searched for his mother's killer and he felt a parasite and chased it. But it was another one like Shinichi, a normal human with a parasite in his mouth. They became friends and wanted to kill Shinichi's mother's killer. That already happened after a very powerful fight. Shinichi came back to school, but this time he was the handsome Shinichi. He has changed a lot. He had supernatural abilities. He felt a parasite again at school, but this time was his mate at school, called Shimada. Shimada's skills was higher than Shinichi's, and he was in the same class of Shinichi's girlfriend. The police began his investigations as there are a lot of people murdered awfully. There must be something wrong and dangerous. One girl liked Shimada and began to follow him everywhere, but luckily she discovered his reality. She knew that he was a parasite. He's one of the monsters who killed the people around. She liked him a lot, so she decided to face him and talk to him. She asked him, "Do you really kill people? If you do so, please don't." Shimada was mad and attacked the girl, and she was terrified. Shinichi of course felt his attack, and he hurried to Shimada's place. The girl threw something like caustic on the parasite and she jumped out of the window. The parasite was mad and began to kill anyone on his way. There was a mess. About 17 people killed because of this monster. Here, Shinichi decided to kill the parasite from a high place and he really did it. After a period of time, everything became normal. The parasite is bred so abnormally that someone ran for governor. Kana met Shinichi more and more until he decided to tell her about everything. She didn't believe him as Migi was asleep and he couldn't prove that he had a parasite in his right hand. They were about to meet again in a certain place. Kana felt the same feeling of Shinichi and ran to him in the same building. But unfortunately he wasn't Shinichi. It was a parasite which ended Kana's life. The police suspected him as he was the one who saw Kana dead. Kana's friend came to blame him. Shinichi couldn't cry. He was so miserable. He hated that. Wait for the second part of Shinichi's story and don't forget to like our video, share it and finally make sure that you hit the subscribe button. Goodbye.